I take refuge in Buddha. May all beings embody the great way, resolving to awaken. I take refuge in Dharma. May all living beings deeply enter the sutras, wisdom like an ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May all beings support harmony in the community, free from hindrance. 無常人人未明の法は百千万号にも愛用ことをかたし。我今検問し自治することを得たり、願わくは如来の真実義を月したて祭らん。Even through ages of myriads of cultures. Hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. May this humble merit of reciting the sutras, offering the incense, flowers and tea and sweets, offering our time, our presence, our thoughts and good wishes, all be extended to our loved ones, families and friends in our community, to all people, to all sentient beings. The service of Setsubun, which marks the end of this winter season, which marks the beginning of the spring, also marks the beginning of the year. In one word, the message of this service is, may all of you stay in good health without becoming ill, without getting injured. And if you are ill, if you're injured, may you recover soon. This prayer service has a special meaning, especially this year, as we just had entered another year of the pandemic. The tradition of throwing sort of took shape in Japan, but the origin of this tradition goes all the way back to China, where the virus and germs frequently threatened people's life. So this was literally a way for people who were fighting against this unknown threat to protect themselves. And probably for many of us, we probably felt that was such threat was something like already a memory forgotten in the past. But now we understand, after spending a full year in the pandemic, that this threat is still relevant to us. It will continue to be a threat as long as we are part of this ecosystem on this planet. Last year, I think in Long Beach and here, I talked a little bit about the nature of evils that we are trying to keep away with the beings. As Buddhist, based on the Buddhist perspective. People now are aware that the pandemic of the virus is a huge threat, but this pandemic also amplifies this ongoing pre-existing endemic of poverty, loneliness, anxiety, and stress from the family or work, or lack of work, or lack of family. Stress from within, stress from outside, endemic of discrimination, hatred, endemic of judgment, inherent judgment against those of opposing views. I think we need to be aware of the time like this in the world gave birth to the emergence of fascism, Nazism, also in case of Japan, Japanese imperialism, all kinds of ism in this world. When we are vulnerable, when we are weak or threatened, we realize that this weakness as humans somehow blindly push us to flock together to follow whatever gives us a sense of stability, power, maybe false sense of hope. The primal vows of objective Mahayana Buddhism in East Asia, which is also the vow that we make as Buddhists, is to free people from the stagnant views, discriminations, illusions. And for this purpose, we start always from realizing our own stagnant views, discriminations, and delusions within. As we understand this more, we start to see all people, living beings, being kept in captivity and confinement of their own delusions. When we throw beans with this wish for all beings, but also we do this in hope that this small act will help many, including In starting ourselves, we released from this confinement of covetousness, anger, and ignorance.
Don't know if many of you remember an organization called Be the Match, when Karai Sensei was looking for a bone marrow donor to help him with his leukemia. He became connected with that organization. And for those who don't know, it's a national donor program that maintains a database. They take samples of potential donors and they match them with people of leukemia that need bone marrow donation. And about 3 years ago, when he was himself searching for a donor to help treat his leukemia, he encouraged his students to sign up with the registry. And I did, and I didn't really think anything of it. I didn't think that in no way that I dreamed that potentially billions of people on Earth that I would match with somebody. But 6 weeks ago, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize, and it went to my voicemail, and I listened to, checked my voicemail and listened to the message, and it was Be the Match. And I thought, well, maybe they just need, maybe it's a fundraiser call, they just need money or something. So I called them back, but sure enough, they told me that I matched with somebody. So there's a person somewhere out there who has leukemia, who needs a bone marrow transplant, and I'm compatible with them. And they asked me if I was still willing to give a donation, and I told them I was. They sent me another test kit just to make sure that everything is on board, the genetic profile and so forth. But and then they told me that this process is anonymous on both ends, so I will never know who the person I'm giving my bone marrow to is, and they will never know who I am. And then that got me thinking, well, what if I did know? And is there anything that would sway my decision? I mean, what if the person that I matched with is a white supremacist, or somebody who's like those people that stormed our Capitol on January 6th with malicious intent in their heart? Would I hesitate? Would I refuse to go along with the donation and agree, honor my agreement with Be the Match? And then this got me thinking about the concept of dana, or generosity, this perfection of virtue, or paramita, that we're supposed to develop as Buddhists. And the thing about dana, or generosity, is that when we practice it, we're not supposed to be prejudiced or have preferences. We're not supposed to consider about who the person that we benefit by our generosity is. Is it someone we like? Is it someone we dislike? Is it someone we hate? Is it someone who has done harmful things? But instead, we should give and practice generosity freely. When we practice that, when Zen students and monastics, when we practice at the monastery, we have this meal eating practice called oryoki, and it involves some chanting. And one of the things that we chant is that as we take the food, we should be mindful of what's called the three wills, or the emptiness of the three wills. And the three wills are giver, receiver, and gift. All that we should be concerned about is just the act of generosity. It doesn't matter who we are, who the person who receives our gift is, or what the gift itself is. All that matters is that we are acting with a generous spirit. And later in the same chat, during a portion of the oryoki meal, when we offer a little bit of our portion of our food to all beings, we give the wish that all beings will be equally nourished and satisfied. And all beings means all beings. It doesn't mean all beings except for a person I hate, except for it means all beings, not all beings, regardless of who they are. And so, yeah, as we start this new lunar year, I think it's good for us to consider this and try to practice generosity with an open and generous heart. Thank you.
We're so happy. We feel we've been accompanying you, surprised by your sudden and harmful accident, and so encouraged by your endurance and your hope and your and now your presence today. As you said before we started, this is an important service, right? To recognize the trials maybe that we have been carrying for a long time that are heavy, and actively letting go, right? Letting them go. And at the same time, taking our current well-being and honoring it, and being happy for it and joyful for it, and also letting it go as a blessing, right, to others. So we stand in the middle of this transition of these seasons, the transition of this year. How wonderful that Shuraku-san brings us this example of embodying the gift, right? Of being a giver and being, again, not mindful of who, just mindful of having been selected to help. That is very wonderful. So we stand in the middle, thankful that we stand in the middle and looking forward. So it's good to see you all. Thank you very much.
This morning I was down in San Diego at the Marine Corps base for services, and because of today's significance, it was serendipitous. Tucked away in a corner of sort of the resource cabinet for Buddha services, I found a bag of granulated incense, and who knows how it got there, when it got there. But because of that, we were able to do a communal incense offering with our hopes and our intentions and our aspirations for the new year. And coupled again with what Yokoyama sensei was telling us, one of the realizations I had when one of the recruits was talking about sort of the difficulty it was for him being separated from his family because of training, and his family going through difficulties at home, mostly with COVID-19. And that is, I and most of the people I know have experienced just the heaviness of the season, just sort of a malaise of heaviness which has surrounded everything, whether or not we have had any direct connection or interaction with the virus or with any of the situations going on in our society. That suddenly flipped itself on its head for me, because it meant that if the actions of others, even though I do not know who they are personally, even if they are taking place in states or locations far from me, that they're able to impact me. They're able to impact me emotionally and spiritually. That must mean that our own actions here and now can also impact them. That even if they have no idea who we are, where we are, the simple actions of maintaining our health, caring for ourselves, caring for others, even experimenting with changing lanes on the highway to let somebody who is very much in a hurry zip on past because they need to go where they need to go. Small things like that, we will never know how they influence or how they impact. But the very real interconnection of our existence means that it does shift things. And I think that was one of the true liberations of the Buddha's teaching, that what we encounter is the result of our actions. However, because we have our intention that is intact, we can choose to do things differently from what we are encountering right now. And I have been very grateful at, it's funny how it's a negative reminder. The heaviness of the season is saying, pay attention to this, that you actually do have influence, that what each one of us do, even in the privacy of our own homes, does matter, does uplift, and does help others, whether or not we can see it. And so I'm immensely grateful for all of you for being able to be part of this community and to move forward into this new year with the faith of not needing to see the results of our actions, to know that each one of us and everything that we do does matter and does make a difference. Thank you.
No, I'm fortunate. I have the Sangha as I return to the workplace tomorrow. So although there is worry and stress, I guess for me, the sun's out, I feel optimistic. And again, I have the Sangha, and I thank you. I feel very fortunate.
Soto!
Fuku wa uchi.
Fuku wa
Uchi.
uchi! Soto!
Fuku wa uchi.
Fuku wa uchi!
Oni wa soto.
Oni wa Soto!
Fuku
Fuku
wa
wa
Uchi.
uchi!
Oni wa
Soto! Fuku wa uchi!
Oni wa
Oni wa
Soto!
Fuku wa
Fuku wa
uchi.
uchi!
Oni wa
Oni wa Soto!
Fuku wa
Fuku wa uchi!
Oni wa
Oni wa Soto!
Fuku wa uchi.
Uchi!
Oni
Oni
wa
wa Soto!
Fuku wa
Uchi!
最後です。鬼は
鬼は外
Fuku
wa uchi!
Through the blessings of the sutras, the tablets, and sacred beings, may all beings stay in good health, spirits, in safety, in joy, and in happiness. Nam Kie Butsu, Nam Kie Ho, Nam Kie So.